Hi, I'm Rachel Holmes and I am thrilled to be bringing you today's interview. This is a must for all fitness professionals or fitness entrepreneurs, in fact, any kind of entrepreneur who is marketing their business using social media, using Google, using Facebook, and has an email list. Tim is a really good friend of mine and he has been somebody that I have gone to over the years for help and advice on email marketing. About 2.5 years ago, I hired him to sit with me until he had gone through every single thing he knew about Facebook ads, how to put them together, how to write them, the artwork, what to put in the copy, the whole thing, and Google AdWords. And I made him sit with me till I'd completely understood the whole thing. Tim is really a wealth of knowledge, and I know you're going to enjoy this interview. So here he is. Welcome, Tim. How are you?
Oh, really good. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you. It's always lovely to see your smiling face. That's what I like.
Just saying, I've not seen you for about 2.5 years. And the last time we saw each other, you came down to my house and we had an intensive Facebook ads and Google AdWords day. You learned me everything that you know.
I think intensive is probably the right word. I see like people's eyes glaze over after a while. I know that's when they're full up of information. Hopefully we're not going to get to that point in 20 minutes, that's for sure.
No, I've known Tim for a long time and he's always been the go-to person for me, or I've often gone to for some expert advice, and he disappeared out of my inbox for a long time and then suddenly I started receiving emails from him again and I thought, aye, what's the Goodwin?
What's cooking?
I need to follow this up. So I shot him a quick email. What are you up to? What's going on? And here we are. And I'm always very interested to know what Tim's doing. He's always on the cutting edge. So I thought, yep, let's get him on the show and let's find out what he is doing. So what are you doing, Mr. Goodwin? What's going on?
Well, I suppose the biggest thing is lean greens. Some people know about lean greens. Some people don't know about lean greens. Lean greens is coming up on 5 years old now. We started off with our signature product, which is our green superfood powder type product. I started it with a gentleman called Paul Mort, somebody that may be familiar to your listeners and readers. Paul and I have been friends for almost 10 years, I think. So I actually bought Paul out of the business about 2 years ago, and we're still really, really good friends. But we decided that was the time. But we've been running that lean greens for about 5 years now. We've got 4/5 products, and we've got loads of new products coming next year as well. So I was actually thinking about lean greens and how it relates to you, Rachel. I think it was the first time I came to your house, and Paul being Paul, he was being really nosy, so he was like hunting around like under your sink and open up cupboards and all sorts, as only Paul can do. And it was quite funny, and he opened the cupboard and all of a sudden we saw this cupboard full to the rafters with all of the supplements that obviously, like, people had sent you supplements to try, and people wanting you to promote the stuff and all this kind of stuff. And I when I saw it, I instantly knew that was those types of products. I didn't want to be like those products. I want our product to stand to be, to be good enough that people would feel proud to put it onto the side of their table, to put it onto the counter, so it's pride of place, and they won't feel embarrassed by it, so that they shove it underneath the sink. So that moment actually really solidified to me what the direction I wanted to go with lean greens. So I don't know if you knew that, but that was
funny. I remember that day because Paul being Paul invited a whole load of people that I've never before. Meet him at my house while I went off to work and just left you all in my kitchen. Interesting that I didn't know he'd gone under the sink. And I didn't.
Well, Paul's been under many sinks before.
That's so funny. So lean greens is going from strength to strength. New products in the offering. So that's brilliant. But tell us what you're doing with the bunker and the new kind of marketing stuff that you're doing.
The bunker's a bit different. Bunker's kind of, and I'm really cautious when I tell people about the way I talk about this, because it sounds like, well, it's just some kind of side thing.
Okay, so the bunker. Talk to me about the bunker, Tim. I need to know.
What's the bunker? Well, it's kind of my guilty pleasure, I suppose.
I love that. Because you've been so into marketing and technology, and
Yeah. I think that's what it is. It's like I spent so long. A lot of people don't realise that before I was in the fitness industry, I was actually a nerd. I was a tech.
Oh, you're still a nerd.
I know. Well, I've had. It almost feels like I've had 3 different lives. I've had like the sort of the corporate life where I was, a tech support guy, doing all sorts of clever ninja stuff with technology. Then I moved into the fitness world, and then I've moved into this kind of like alternate reality, which I call e-commerce. So yeah, 3 different lives, but I still have this sort of like I love the technology side of things. I really get a kick out of marketing, and that's what I talk about in the bunker. It's a private group. It's I've got it running through a Slack group. I don't know if anybody's used Slack. Basically, it's a relatively small group. We've literally just started, and it's a place where I can tell people about the different technology that I use, and tell people about the marketing strategies that I use, and how it all combines, and how people can then use it and apply it to their own business. So that's basically what the bunker is. It's my guilty pleasure. It keeps me away from like talking about green powder for my whole life, because it even bores me to a certain degree. I get to that point where I'm like, enough green powder stuff. Let's talk about something else. So that's what the bunker is.
Okay, so let's have some ninja tips from you then. So marketing ninja tips going into 2017.
Oh, wow.
As we are recording this, what do you think is happening with internet marketing fitness products, i.e. classes and online offerings? Where do you think we're going in 2017?
I think online, the marketing that we do online will change once again. It's a never-ending process of new technology or new enhancements to things, or changes to the way that Facebook operates, the way that Google AdWords operates, and things like that. And I still believe that right now at this moment, as we're recording, I think Facebook advertising is massively overrated.
Do you? Oh, that's so interesting. I thought he was going to say underpriced then. You think it's overrated?
I think it's massively overrated, and there's too much emphasis right now on Facebook advertising. Yes, it's really accessible to people, but it's overpriced for what it is. And essentially, it's interruption marketing. Facebook's turning into very much a media company now, and a media distribution company. And the pricing model that they have has made it. They've got to the point where they've got so many advertisers, so many people putting ad campaigns up, that they've reached a saturation point with the amount of ads that can go onto their newsfeed that people will tolerate. And so the only way that they increase their revenues is by increasing their prices. Now, which then makes it more difficult for the small guys, likes of you and I, to actually be competitive.
Yeah.
However, for me, I'm still running a lot of Google AdWords campaigns and seeing incredible things.
Don't you think Google AdWords have gone up though? The prices of those have gone up.
They've gone up, but at the same time, the effectiveness of them has improved. They've made some dramatic changes this year to the format of the adverts.
Okay.
Laid out, and I believe that it's actually made it more competitive than Facebook. The reason being, there's a psychological difference between Facebook ads and Google ads. On Facebook, you're interrupting people. It's interruption marketing at its best. And people, when they're on Facebook, they're not in that mindset of, I'm going to go and buy something. Whereas somebody who goes onto Google and does a search for personal trainer Oxford, or Pilates Oxford, or whatever is the latest and greatest group training program in their particular town, people are looking to buy. They're in that market. They've gone onto Google specifically to search for a solution to the thing that they want. So we find, certainly for what we do with Lean Greens and some of the other stuff that we actually market, is that the effectiveness of the advert. My ad costs on Google are tiny, you know, a couple of £100 a month. And
Really?
that's where the majority of our business comes from. It's just from that. Whereas on Facebook, you know, at the beginning of the year, I was spending thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on Facebook ads, and I wasn't seeing an effective return. So I was like, I killed off all of these Facebook campaigns that I was running and put all the money back into Google again. So I think people, you know, have kind of missed that. You know, they've kind of been duped somewhat by Facebook and how easy it is to get into Facebook. So I recommend that everybody who's listening, at the very least, learn how to do a basic Google AdWords campaign. It's easier than it ever used to be. It's still complicated, don't get me wrong, but it's now easier than ever to actually get started with Google AdWords.
That's really interesting you said that, because I remember doing it when you and I did it, and I tried a lot, and it is very competitive though, isn't it? I mean, there's lots of people advertising fitness. I mean, fitness is a very saturated market, and there's a lot of people doing it all over the world. But it's interesting now that you've said that Google AdWords, because I always find it so complicated, but it's actually it's more straightforward now. I suppose they've had to change to be competitive with Facebook, or obviously they must have been losing serious amounts of money to Facebook.
For local marketing, it's huge. I think it's a massively missed opportunity for local businesses. If you're a local personal trainer, if you've got a local facility that you run, or if you're running a local group training program, most of your competitors will be on Facebook.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's like, you know, I would say that 90% of the people will be doing their ads on Facebook and trying to get, you know, whatever voodoo sort of ninja strategies are working on Facebook at the moment. Whereas Google AdWords, it's like, you know, for example, we have a campaign on our Google AdWords campaigns for Lean Greens. I've got a campaign that I set up 3 years ago. It still runs like clockwork. I literally don't touch it.
And it's still bringing in returns.
It still brings in, you know, 20, 30, 40 leads as in new customers every single month, like clockwork. I don't even touch it.
Brilliant. You see, with Facebook, it's always, well, you know, sending them to a landing page, getting email address, and then it's this long courtship of, at the end of the day, we might get a sale, you might not. You might get a couple of email addresses onto your list. It depends, and it changes so quickly.
Yeah.
So where would somebody start with Google Advert? Where do they start?
I think there's lots of information out there. A lot of people, there's a lot of people who are showing people how to create Facebook ads. There's not so many showing people how to do Google AdWords, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a bit of a fight. You can go onto YouTube and you can find some information about how to set up your first campaign and stuff like that. I know that, you know, obviously without trying to sort of promote my own thing, but obviously one of the first things that we set up in the bunker is a training program to show people actually how to set up their first AdWords campaign, because I feel it's that massively missed opportunity. So for people to actually advertise on it, and for me it's the low-hanging fruit. It's people are searching for you and your stuff, so why not put an advert in front of them? So.
But what would you say? Say somebody that's teaching local classes, community venues. How much money do you think they'll need to be spending on a regular basis on Google AdWords to see some return, to physically see bums on seats, especially as it's coming into January?
To start with, like most campaigns that we set off, I set the budget at £5 a day.
Okay.
Which for most people is what they're probably spending on a Facebook ad anyway.
Yeah.
And even with £5 a day, there's not enough search volume for, say, for example, Pilates Oxford.
Yeah.
There's only a certain number of people who will be searching for those keywords.
Yeah.
So in essence, you probably won't even spend that £5 a day. You know, I set up a new campaign for a friend of mine, Chris, up here in Newcastle, and you know, it was for personal training Newcastle, and it was for his business name, and I set the budget at £5 a day, and I think over the first 2 weeks we didn't spend any more than £10, and yet we were driving targeted leads at his website, you know, targeted traffic at his website, people who were looking for a personal trainer in Newcastle, or looking for a gym or a facility, or, you know, group training or whatever in that particular area. So the cost-wise, it's really super low. And because of the way that it works, it's you only pay when somebody clicks on your advert.
Mm.
You don't pay, whereas on Facebook, you pay regardless of whether somebody clicks on it or not.
Yeah.
Even though you may be only paying for clicks, they still basically bill you for how many times it's shown. So, that's one of the main differences with Facebook and Google. And I say it's not the easiest, I grant you that, but it's well worth the effort. And to be honest with you, it's probably about the same amount of effort that you would put into learning how to do a Facebook ad. It's just a different system, that's all.
Now, again, as in with Facebook ads, do you think what is just as important is where you're sending people to? If you're sending them to a page on your website, do you think that that's okay, or do you think it's better to send somebody to something that is a bit more bespoke and own, like a landing page, like a ClickFunnels or a Lead Pages? Do you really think it's cost effective? Because Lead Pages basically is about another £100 a month, I think, at the base level, and it is very simple to create quite effective, streamlined landing pages, but it is another cost.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth it?
It is and it isn't. It depends on where you want to go with it. I use ClickFunnels. I've used Lead Pages as well over the last few years. I don't use this at the moment because ClickFunnels is my chosen tool. One of the great things with ClickFunnels is the ability to change stuff very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Certainly when you're starting out, just send it to your normal website. As long as it follows the basic rules of the engagement on Google AdWords, as long as you're not breaking up their terms of service, which are pretty similar to Facebook in all honesty. As long as you've got the basics right, then you won't have any problems there. So you just send it to your normal website. For years we sent all of our Google AdWords traffic just direct to our front page of our website. I never really sent it to landing pages. Once you get a little bit more involved with it, you might want to send it to a very specific landing page based upon the thing that they're searching for, and that's where you can start optimizing your campaigns to be much, much more effective. But 99% of the time, when you first start, just send it to your website.
Brilliant. Great advice, Tim. Okay, so what's next? 2 great tips there. So give us some more. Email lists. Now, I've been a massive advocate for everybody that's following me that your email list is your backbone. It's the backbone to your business. It's your currency, really. If you ever want to sell your business, you can't do anything without an email list. And I know myself, my business have only been successful due to the fact that every day I've spent time building that email list, nurturing it, looking after it. But I think now we need to be even more specialised with our lists. And I know you've got some good ideas on this.
Yeah, segmentation is huge. And it's, in the past, there's been this obsession with how many people your email list has. And it's like, I've got 5,000, I've got 25,000, I've got a 40 million. And it's like, it doesn't make any odds, really. One of the things I would say is that we, internally for our own businesses, we have quite sophisticated segmentation. Now, you don't need to go to the extent I go to with segmentation, which is quite anal, to be honest with you. But one of the basic things I would say everybody needs to do with their email list is clear out the people who are not opening and not clicking on links.
Now, can you really do that, Tim? I mean, are there people that are languishing on your email list that just kind of sit there for maybe a year or so, get all your content, then suddenly buy something, but otherwise you might have got rid of them? Do you not think it's worth just keeping them there?
That is true, but there is one of the great things with technology today is that the email autoresponder services that you use, whether it's ActiveCampaign or Aweber or iContact or whatever system you use, MailChimp should have the ability to do it as well. They should be able to tell you when was the last time that person opened an email. Okay?
Yeah.
So if somebody hasn't opened an email in the last 6 months, what's the likelihood of that person opening an email from you in the next 6 months?
Yes.
So I would say practically zero. And I would, if anything, I would say to people, if people have got people on the list who've been there for 6 months and they've never opened an email, like take that email address and put it into a spreadsheet somewhere, just delete it or do something with it. You could, feed it back into Facebook and remarket to them. And get them to re-opt again. which is what we do. Try not to get too technical. But the real key with it is get them off that list. Stop emailing them, because the problem with having this massive list, say you've got a list of, say, 10,000 people who you email every day, and only 1,000 people are actually active and opening and reading your emails. Why the hell are you sending emails to 9,000 other people? It doesn't help anybody. It takes up space in the ether, which, if you're that way inclined, it's, not a good idea. But one of the other things is that it actually has a massive impact on the deliverability of all of your other emails. A lot of autoresponder services like iContact or Aweber, they will put you on different servers based upon what your open rate is like. So if you've got a crappy open rate, they're going to put you onto a lesser server that has less deliverability, and over time you're just going to get less and less and less people actually opening. So we have a process, very, very simple process, that if somebody hasn't opened, we're quite aggressive with this. If somebody hasn't opened an email or clicked on a link or been on our website for 60 days, we move them off our main list and stop emailing them. I then move them onto another list, which I then remarket to them on Facebook, and I drive them to a different advert and things like that. Now, I wouldn't be so aggressive for other businesses. So, for example, a service-based thing, 6 months, I would say, is probably about right. So after 6 months, just get them off your list. Another thing which is really, really key is when people come onto your list, is qualifying them as quickly as possible. Now, you'll find that there's a lot of people on your list who have never, ever opened a single email from you, ever, okay? I guarantee at least 30%, at least 30% of the email list that you've got have never opened a single email from you. Get rid of them, okay? Get rid of them today, because they are taking up space on your list and they are destroying your deliverability. So that's the one thing I would say. And then have that list of active, hyper-responsive people on your list that you are sending your latest offers to, and that's the first segment that you send your latest offer to, and you'll get a much more effective return from that email. One of the other things it does is also it means it focuses your mind on what the message is in the email. You can talk to that person in a much more specific way. You can market more effectively because the message matches the type of activity that person has with you, which is way more powerful rather than being quite generalized and vanilla with your messaging. So that's huge. And then that then rolls onto what we do with buyers as well. And I would certainly say there's have a buyers list that is completely separate from your subscribers. So that everybody who's ever bought from you at least once, put them onto a separate list. And then I would then segment that up again. So people who bought more than once from you again. Because obviously if they bought once and they love you so much that they buy again, actually that's a hugely powerful list to have.
Yeah.
And then finally, we have our hyper-responsive, really, really great customers who have bought multiple times from us. I went through a process a couple of weeks ago where I did a search for everybody who's ordered over £1,000 worth of product from us over the lifetime. Well, now £1,000 is a lot for us because the highest price point on our product is £45. That's the most that somebody can buy from us in one product. So somebody to spend £1,000 from us is huge. So we've got that small list of people who bought from us, so many different times and with so much value. We send them an individual Christmas card and a Christmas present this year. And it strengthens that relationship once again. And it also means that the messaging that we have with them and the way that we communicate with them, is so much stronger. And they then continue to spend more money with us. So it has a knock-on effect that way.
Brilliant, Tim. Absolutely. And you know what? That has been in the back of my mind. That's so clever. It's just so good that you've crystallized that. So whichever email service that people are using probably is going to be Aweber, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, Meets Infusionsoft. I think we've got a few people that use Confusionsoft, not Infusionsoft. I think that there is capabilities to do those searches for people, that especially the opens. I think you can on Infusion. Can you on Aweber and MailChimp?
You can do with Aweber, definitely. MailChimp, it changes all the time with MailChimp. I used it about 2 years ago, and you couldn't then but certainly now, I believe you can actually see when the last time they opened an email. So you should be able to segment at least on that.
This is clever. And email marketing, do you still think, daily email, regular email to your list works?
Certainly, there's I use email quite a lot. It's not quite every single day. It averages around about 3 to 4 times a week. Mm-hmm. And I think what happens is this time of year is an interesting time of year to send emails, being around Christmas and New Year and all that kind of stuff. Lots of businesses are sending me emails saying, Happy New Year, here's my latest offer. And I'm like, hold on a second, I haven't heard from you in 12 months.
I get that.
And it's like, it's my way of doing a bit of a cleanse. It's like that spring cleaner. I've never heard from you in 12 months. Why should I listen to you now? So certainly there is a bit of a balance. I find that every single day of the week, it's hard work on me more than anything else. I can write every day, but I tend not to. And what I do is I probably write an email every single day, but I have emails going to different segments.
Got it.
So I'll send an email to all of our customers on one day, and then the next day I might send it to only our subscribers. The day after that, I might send it to our hyper-responsive top 20% of customers. A specific offer that's related to them. And that way, because we've got those different segments, I can really tailor the message so tightly to that specific audience. Crazy things like, now we've got multiple products with our business. I go, well, if they've bought X, but they've not bought Y, I can send them an email about Y.
Yeah.
Or a video or something customized about that particular thing, because I know they haven't bought that thing yet, but I know that they're a customer. So, that messaging becomes much, much more powerful.
Very clever. So I imagine as well, a lot of people watching, listening this will be thinking now, January's coming up. I need to bombard my list with as many different offers as I possibly can, tell them all about, but so is everybody else.
Yes.
Everyone is going to be, there's going to be everything from, everything is as soon as Boxing Day hits, it's going to be a fitness frenzy out there. So how do you think someone needs to stand out? Do you think they need to be up in their game content-wise on social media, giving good value, listen to Gary Vaynerchuk out there every day, Facebook Live every day, and using all the platforms, Instagram's just about to come out with Live, that's popping. Do you think as, a fitness professional in the UK in 2017 needs to be everywhere?
No, but at the same time, yes. I think we've talked about social and the sort of weird reality or twisted sense of reality that social creates. I still, when I look at certainly at a local business, I think so many people miss a trick with local offline marketing. I still believe it's probably one of the strongest things you can do to be out there in the local community. Far too many people hide behind these laptops. I'm of the guiltiest party in that with running an online business, an e-commerce business. It's one thing I miss is getting out and actually talking to people face to face. So, from the days that I was running my personal training business and my boot camp style business as well, I used to be, getting out to all of the charity events, going to all the 5K runs that were organized in my town. I was doing massage for the local rugby club. I was, at the local, Chamber of Commerce events, all these different things. I was sponsoring different things here, there, and everywhere, and getting out there. And people knew me as the guy to go to in the town because, they come up to me at an event and I go, I've seen you at this event, I've seen you at this event, I've seen your YouTube videos, I've seen you on Facebook, I'm on your email list, I want to join your group kind of, and it's like that was a really great position to be into. And so, yes, be everywhere, but at the same time, realize that there is more to life than just being online everywhere.
Yeah, I'm so sure. Totally agree.
So, offline stuff.
Yeah, organising events, doing talks, things for people to go to are very current. Lots of people do want to get out and meet you, talk to you. A nice, it doesn't have to be a fitness, i.e. A workout. It can be a talk. I think talks are brilliant to do some kind of launch in January. I think they work so well. So yeah, definitely that's interesting. Anything else, Tim, you want to share with
I wrote a couple of things down on my list, and I've covered quite a lot of them. But I think the key bit to get across to people is like, which comes back to that segmentation thing. I think is that customers are all made equal, but like some are more equal than others, and that's really really key to like get your head around. If there's a book that I could encourage everybody to read, it's 80/20 Sales and Marketing.
Okay.
It's by what's the name of the guy? Oh my God, it's gone.
I heard that book, Tim. 80/20. Okay.
Hold on a second, I'm just trying to find it on my bookshelf, and somebody's probably stolen it. I can't see it on my bookshelf. Yeah, if you do a search on Amazon, 80/20 Sales and Marketing.
Okay.
It's a superb book. It's a little thin book. It doesn't take very long to read, but it will show you the power of segmentation, the power of how some of your buyers are much, much more influential and very, very powerful to you in your business. I gave the example of the top 20 list and those people who spent, over £1,000 with us. Those people who spent over £1,000 with us has paid for me to go on holiday this year.
Yeah.
The people who bought once and twice, they pay the bills, they keep the lights on, they do everything that they need to do to keep the business running. The people who give me the profit to then be able to go and enjoy myself and do the fun things in life, those are the 20%, the top 20% who are buying the most amount of money from us. Yeah. And that's, there's so many opportunities for people to go and spend, your customers have much, much more ability to spend more money with you. So I would certainly say, have different offerings out there available to people who want to spend more money with you, because there is always a percentage that will.
Yeah, I love that. And Tim, so if people want to get introduced to the Bunker Group, get on your list and find out what you're doing, where do they go?
The best place to go is fastimplementation.com. That's my sort of website. It's a bit clunky at the moment. I'll grant you that. The reason being is that when I set up the Bunker, it was like, it's just my side projects, as it were. So it still has that feel, a bit of a
side project feel.
It's a side project feel, but there's an awful lot of content that goes in there every single day of the week. There is one thing which I am doing over the next week or so, is I'm actually creating a free course for everybody to come on to, and that's showing people how to build a membership site. Really, really very simple stuff. You won't need to hire a developer. It will require things like having, say, for example, ClickFunnels, which obviously does incur a cost, but I'll be running the course for free to show people how easy it is to use something like ClickFunnels. Right. So for that, go to fastimplementation.com/member. The web page, by the time you actually get to watch this, it should be up.
Brilliant. Okay. And are you still undercover on Facebook? Are you I'll never know if you're there or not. Is it undercover? It's really weird. I just thought you popped into my inbox and suddenly I was getting all these likes on my Instagram from I was like, who is this? It's Summer from God knows where. And then I looked at the that page.
Facebook's an interesting one for me. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I use Facebook for running our business pages and running our advertising campaigns. I don't really do the Facebook for Facebook.
Have you ever? I don't think.
Well, I did actually spend 2 years not without a Facebook account, which for some people just blows people's minds. But I'm on there so sparsely, so please don't contact me on Facebook. The best way to contact me is by coming onto my list on fastimplementation.com, and we can go from there, and you can communicate with me that way. Good old-fashioned email.
That's fine. Thanks, Tim. Really, it's been really nice to see you and get this interview, and I really appreciate your time and all your expertise that I've learned from you over the years. I really appreciate it. So
it's an absolute pleasure as always.
Oh, thank you.